Everyone, and welcome to the NARSA Weekly Update for the week commencing Monday the 24th of January 2022. It's Gary here again, and I am so delighted that we have actual real genuine Rangers football content to discuss this week, albeit it wasn't exactly everything that we were looking for from this past week's two games that played, unfortunately. We'll get to that part in a second, but before we do, I wanted to thank and congratulate Tunisia for their sensational victory over Nigeria in the African Cup of Nations last 16 match that was played yesterday. And the reason this is important to us, of course, is that it means that the talisman that is Joe Aribo is now out of the AFCON tournament, and we'll have him back with us sooner rather than later. Nigeria were the favourites for the tournament this year, I believe, and if they had made it to the final, we'd have been out without Joe until some point after the 6th of February, which is the date of the final. So you would imagine there would probably be some rest and recovery time in there after that. So while I'm sure he's pretty disappointed at not making it further in the tournament, I'm fairly certain that I'm not alone in being delighted that he'll be available for us maybe this weekend or next week if he's getting a wee bit of time off. But I would imagine they would want to get maybe at least one domestic game in before next week's Old Firm game. As you know, he's so important to us with the way that he's been playing this season, not just this season, but this season in particular. So it's a real win for us to get him back safe and sound. And all the more so since Alfredo Morelos was called up to the Colombia national squad for their forthcoming World Cup qualifiers, which I believe is maybe this week and early next, something like that, rendering him unavailable for the Old Firm game that I just mentioned that we have a week on Wednesday here. So happy for Alfie, of course, and always wanted him to do well, but with his importance to the team, it is a wee bit of a downer that he won't be available to face that mob, as I think he dislikes them, that mob, just as much as the rest of us do, and always puts in a really good shift against them too. So one wee bit of good news and one wee bit of not so good news for our squad just this past wee while. But on to the game segment for this week. We had two games last week, one in the league and one in the Scottish Cup fourth round. The first one was the return after the winter break, and it was away to Pittodrie against Aberdeen, where unfortunately we did what we've done, 3 out of the past 4 years now, and came back from a winter break in some sort of dozy haze and turned in just an awful all-round performance in the 1-1 draw. The game was littered with silly fouls on both sides, some dodgy defending from us, particularly on set pieces, and no real true genuine threat on our goal that we couldn't handle, that wasn't kind of more of the routine variety. But we just didn't start the game well at all, and then scored an absolutely brilliant opener in a move that ended with Yanis Hadji expertly slotting home an incredible Ryan Kent precision pass on 20 minutes. After that, we did take more of a grip of the game, but it was pretty short-lived in terms of actually commanding the play of the game, and it took a very unfortunate handball against Alfredo Morelos to get them their penalty and opportunity to equalise. And of course, as the penalty incident is unfolding, Kevin Clancy almost tweaked his neck. Such was the speed he moved to get his yellow card out of his pocket and book Alfie for a completely unintentional handball when his hand is as tight to his body as it could have been, save for him actually tucking it inside his bloody shirt. For the next wee while, I'm going to start a referee watch section so that I can critique the overall performance of the referee. I kind of do that most of the time anyway, but I'm going to make a particular point of doing that from now on, just for therapy for me, actually, more so than anything else. So for the first one of the series, I'll start by saying that Kevin Clancy is a ridiculous referee. His ability to create drama in a game when there really is none is just unbelievable, and his inconsistency in game is simply staggering. He was absolutely dreadful last week. The 2 yellow cards for Ryan Kent were ridiculous, and again, like with Alfie, he couldn't get his second yellow card out of his pocket quick enough before proudly brandishing the red and sending him off. Scott Brown has to have nude photographs of Kevin Clancy somewhere in his drawers or whatever. I'm not exactly sure, because it was like Christmas and his birthday and every other occasion that he liked to celebrate wrapped up in 90 minutes with the amount of garbage that clown is allowed to get away with throughout the game. When you can't actually play the game anymore, I guess you resort to just cheating your way through the game and all over the pitch. And our referees still seem to be blind to the utter bizarreness of that ridiculous caricature of a footballer. So much so that Rangers leadership held talks with the SFA in the aftermath of the game regarding the number of refereeing concerns, highlighting a number of incidents, I assume, not where Clancy never applied the rules of the game. The blatant errors that were made and the obvious bias against some of our players, or for one particular member of their squad. I would hope that's what they said anyway. Obviously, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. But it was an absolutely ridiculous performance by the referee, only usurped by our own dismal showing. So Kevin Clancy didn't lose as the game. I'm not saying that. But quite simply, we need to be better than that to have any hope of winning title number 56. It was a very, very poor performance, and I hope Giovanni saw enough of a slump in the performance that he will be able to relatively easily correct it immediately to ensure that we continue to maintain a lead atop the division. Our second game was on Friday night, and it was the Scottish Cup 4th round 4-0 victory at home to Stirling Albion, where we had a crowd of almost 39,000 showed up. I mentioned last week that I thought the Blue Noses would have showed up in numbers just due to the fact that they hadn't had a chance to see the team live for a number of weeks prior to that. And we enjoyed goals from first team debutant and man of the match Alex Lowry, James Tavernier, Cedric Itten and Fashion Sakala. And we also enjoyed 2 penalties, both of which, by the way, were stonewallers, and both that I don't think resulted in lightning fast brandishing of yellow cards, funnily enough. Strange that one, eh? Tav scored one of the penalties, the first one, and had the second one saved after it was struck at a pace and height that was pretty much perfect for the goalie, but not complaining on that. His first penalty was superb. It was a solid performance that we needed, and it was absolutely wonderful to see the mature and very effective performance of 18-year-old Alex Lowry, who came on for the injured Yanis Hadji. I hope Yanis is okay with no lasting damage after that foul, which possibly may have been a penalty as well, by the way. But what a debut from the youngster, well beyond his years now. I'm not getting hysterical about him or anything like that. That's for the folks in the East End to do that when they get a boy that comes on and plays pretty well. But it was a home game. It was against lower league opposition, but it's still great to see yet more youngsters from the academy system get the first team action, which we also enjoyed, of course, later when Leon King made his Ibrox debut on the hour mark, replacing the returning from injury Leon Balogun. So I guess you only get to play alongside Connor Goldson in central defence if your name's Leon these days. That's the way it worked out on Friday anyway. And it was also nice to see the goals spread out among the 4 different players that I mentioned earlier there. And I'm happy for Itten to score on his return to us as well. And you probably saw it as well, but I saw a brilliant tweet on the weekend saying something like, "No one in history ever again will score against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Stirling Albion all in the same season." Absolutely brilliant and very totally true as well. So our reward for our victory is an away match at Annan Athletic in or around the weekend of the 12th of February, so not too long to wait for that one, thankfully. It's been so long since we won a cup that I'm truly getting a wee bit fuzzy about what it feels like, so hopefully we can get this win for this cup for this season. And in terms of the referee watch for this particular game, John Beaton didn't do too much wrong overall, other than him and his linesman not giving Cedric Itten the opening goal, and when it looked like the ball crossed the line, it looked like it from the angles that I've seen. But other than that, he got all the big decisions right and wasn't overly exuberant in his application of the laws in terms of being inconsistent or anything like that. So no complaints at all about the referee on this particular game. See, that's how biased we can be when we get some fairness attached to our refereeing performances. This week we have 2 games in the league to round off January, starting with Wednesday's home match against Livingston, which has a 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff. That's 7:45 p.m. UK time. Typically a stuffy team to play against, although we have enjoyed some crucial victories against him in the last few matches that we have played against him. The last time we played Livingston was at the end of November, where we ran out 3-1 winners in an uncharacteristically entertaining game at the Tony Macaroni Arena, thanks to early goals from Scotty Arfield and Joe Aribo and Fashion Sakala. A similar result, but this time with a clean sheet, would be absolutely wonderful. And the reason I said uncharacteristically entertaining is when I did the pre-match pod before that game, I recall saying, I hate when we go to play at Livingston. I just hate it because the games are always garbage. They're always hustle and bustle. There's not too much that happens or anything like that. And that game was one of the more entertaining games that we've actually enjoyed throughout the whole season. So once again, I stand corrected. The second game is this coming Saturday, away to Ross County with a 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 12:30 p.m. UK time kickoff. Yeah, another early one for us, I'm afraid, Bears. I have to admit that earlier in the season, it looked to me that Ross County were certainties to get relegated after they had just an awful start to the season, but fair play to them. They've picked themselves up of late and put together a decent run that now sees them third bottom, 5 points clear of second bottom Dundee, which includes also 3 victories and a draw in their last 6 games, which is funnily enough the same record for Livingston too, as well, as we play them on Wednesday. So this isn't going to be an easy game for us on the weekend either, and we'll need to be close to our best to get the result that we need there. The last time we played Ross County was on the 7th of November, where we ran out 4-2 winners thanks to goals from Joe Aribo. Pattern forming here about goal scorers, isn't there? Ryan Kent, Juninho Bacuna and an own goal at the end, and this was after County had taken a surprise lead in the 5th minute against us. I actually don't recall too much from that particular game, so I guess we'll just leave that recap at that. Now, last week I mentioned how important February was or would be to our season, and again, the caution here is I'm not going to look too far ahead on that right now, other than to say that come the end of February, with the league games that we have there, we'll only have 10 league games left to play. That's how crucial and critical the month of February is. Obviously, these 2 matches that we have remaining in January are just as crucial and critical for us, but it's more important than ever that we're chasing and securing maximum points in every single game that we play between now and the end of February, and then we'll see where we land at that particular point in terms of our quest for 56. But then after that, you're getting into single figures and you're starting to do some mathematical calculations. So that's pretty exciting. Points per game, as it stands right now, I kind of fluffed it last week because I forgot to update the Celtic one after their victory over Diet Celtic the night before, or that day, I guess it was. Sorry, it was on Monday they played them. But we are now on 2.48 points per game, which is down from 2.55 after the draw at Aberdeen, and that mob are on 2.29 points per game, a slight increase from last week after they won their game. So still a healthy lead in the points per game, just in case it becomes required that we might need that. For RTV again, we did have a lot of activity on the RTV vouchers, the individual vouchers this past week. So thanks once again to every club who got in touch with us to request the vouchers in advance. And as I'd mentioned last week, such was the demand at times that we did run out of vouchers twice and had to request more. But we've gotten what we need, and I think all clubs are now fully set up. But of course, if not, please do get in touch with Alan McWatt or myself directly, and we'll get you sorted with the vouchers. And please, please, please do not wait until game day, because we all want to enjoy the lead up to the match as much as we possibly can without frantically running around trying to get everybody sorted out. For shoutouts, I have 2 new ones and a repeat one for you for this week. The first one falls into the category of better late than never, and it's a birthday wish for friend of NARSA, Colin McCabe from the Dubai Loyal Rangers Supporters Club, who celebrated his 40th birthday on the 16th of January. I know I'm late, and see, the ironic part of this is that I wished him a happy birthday at the time, on the day of his birthday, and then it completely slipped my mind to make mention of it for our shout-out section last week. Whoops, my bad, Colin, but I did want to wish you a belated happy birthday, and I hope you had a great time celebrating quite the month and a bit for you, Colin, with your 10-year wedding anniversary being just last month, then a milestone birthday not long after. Party central in Dubai these days, but happy birthday, mate. Hope you had a great time. The second one is the repeat one, is a reminder for any Calgary and area bears that we have around, I think it's 10, the last I heard anyway, it was 10 bears confirmed to come and watch next week's Old Firm game at the Palomino. We can seat 10 people at a table. I don't know if we have tables set up for 10, but we can certainly seat that, so that would be one table that we are requesting. I have my half day booked off from work, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing some of the members that I haven't had a chance to see in the flesh this past 4 or 5 months that we've been locked out. But the shout out part of this, of course, is if you're in and around Calgary area and you want to come and watch it with the Bears, please let our secretary Debbie Carey know at rsccsecretary@gmail.com. That's rsccsecretary@gmail.com, as we do need to know the numbers so that we can get the tables reserved and make sure the pub are prepared for us to be there. And finally, it is my absolute pleasure to announce the latest addition to the Blue Nose family, to the NARSA Blue Nose family, with the birth of Tavish Matthew Peter McDonald. Talk about that for a Scottish name, eh? Who was born on Saturday, this past Saturday, at 2:51 p.m. Calgary time, that's Mountain Standard Time, weighing a very healthy 8 pounds and 3 ounces. The proud parents are Davy and Carla McDonald, and Davy is a long-time member, albeit mostly in absentia for the past few seasons, of Rangers Supporters Club of Calgary, and one of my best mates here in Canada. And brave Carla I spent the best part of a full 24 hours in labour before the wee man finally made his grand entrance, and I know they are both proud as punch. He actually just got home today, and we had the photograph in the wee group chat that we've got with the car seat and the proud parents making their way out to drive probably 15 kilometres an hour on the journey home. And a journey that takes 10 minutes takes 45 because you're panicky and all that sort of stuff. I love it. Now, on to the name, Tavish. I quizzed Davey about the name on Saturday when he had told me about it, and he confirmed that it's no coincidence that our current Captain Fantastic is called James Tavernier, Tav for short, Tavish, to add a little bit of a Scottish slant on it. I'm taking it. And his firstborn is called Tavish. Is that staunch or what? I think that's magnificent. Davey, I know you and the family have had one of these roller coaster weeks that's led up to the most momentous of life moments, and I just wanted to give you the most staunchest of congratulations to you and the family, and let you know that I love you and I'm very proud of you, and I'm here for whatever help that you need as you continue and navigate through your parental journey. I cannot wait to meet the wee man whenever we can safely make that happen. Congratulations again. I am grinning from ear to ear as I'm saying this. I just love it. I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy. For our convention update this week, I'll start again with what my countdown says, and I can confirm that my fancy swanky countdown app on my phone says it's 127 days until the first official event of the NARSA 2022 convention. As far as practical updates goes, the main update I'd like to provide this week is that this will likely be the last week that there won't be huge material updates for you. Maybe not huge material updates, but material updates. Last week I had a quick text chat with Jimmy Denning from the Las Vegas Loyal Rangers Supporters Club to let him know that it's time that we really start ramping things up and getting the event truly into execution mode. We've been kind of treading water a wee bit, just keeping a close eye on the Omicron variant and seeing what the impacts are to travel and of course safety and things like that. So, and that's just what we've done. So for this week, I'll repeat the excursions that are on sale, and I can confirm that we'll hold off for another week or so on the golf and football. We've had quite a few inquiries on the golf and football this last wee while as well. So we'll try and get them out as quickly as we can and get them ready to rock and roll early February, hopefully. But the two excursions that the Las Vegas Loyal Rangers Supporters Club have on sale is the VIP party boat on Thursday, June the 2nd, and the Best Day Ever tour on Friday, June the 3rd as well. Another wee reminder, I know I've mentioned this a couple of times on various pods over the last wee while, but we at NARSA are working on a no refunds policy for any purchase tickets for the event. The only way there would be a material carte blanche refunding of tickets would be if the event had to be cancelled in its entirety, and we are very confident that's not going to be the case. We've seen a wee bit more activity on the tickets trading front this past couple of weeks. So once again, by all means get in touch with me, and I've been answering a bunch of emails over the last wee while, but sometimes I'm a wee bit delayed because my email goes a wee bit out of control, and I don't want you to be left kind of in limbo or a little bit stressed out about that. But go on to Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, or 3 major social media platforms, tag NARSA, let the bears know what packages you're selling, how many, and then when you've got them sold, confirm with us here that the transaction has indeed taken place, so that we can change the names and emails attributed to that particular transaction on our system, so there's no hassle come redemption time at the events in Las Vegas as well. So no refunds. Please use NARSA for whatever you need to be able to get the tickets sold, and good luck. And on the 2023 convention, we're pretty much there. We have an agreement signed and countersigned by the hotel, and we will be able to make the formal announcement on that one next week. I'll spend a wee bit more time prepping for what the announcement will be next week. It did take us a while on this one, but I'm really glad to have this significant milestone almost behind us. The only thing we're waiting on is the final confirmation, when we make our deposit payment, which is the first transaction we have to do to formalise the contract. So the contract is signed, fully executed, and then the first deposit just solidifies that. I know Alec probably is paying our treasurer, Alec Grant, is paying has paid the deposit right now, but I've got everything shut down here so I don't get interrupted when I'm doing the pod. So I'll wait until we have that fully done, and as I say, I'll get you a wee bit more information on that next week. Thanks to Alec for getting that stuff done. And special thanks to Brian Campbell and Billy Ferguson for their help in tweaking the contract and musing through the various content and clauses in that there. It's always good to get more eyeballs on that, so we're all on the same page. Another regular plug for our frequently asked questions document that I've been talking about forever now. It's on our website. Please go there if you have any questions specific to the logistics around the convention. I'm sure your question will be answered there. In other business for this week, not so positive news. I wanted to let everyone know that Scott Allen resigned from his role as NARSA Communications Director this past Friday morning, and I wanted to place on record my sincere thanks to Scott for his contribution to NARSA during his tenure with us, and to let you know that we'll most likely leave this position vacant for now, with the intent being to fill it during our AGM at the convention in Las Vegas in June. If in the meantime though, if you have any interest in finding out a little bit more about the role, for a no obligation conversation, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me directly at rangersscc@hotmail.com. That's 2 S's and 2 C's, and I'll give you an overview of the existing communications portfolio and where we're hoping to take things as we move forward. We're in a healthy position on the communication front. Of course, this podcast is one part of the communication portfolio that we have, but we do want to refill the position and get moving forward on that. So as I say, get in touch if you want to find out a little bit more. We have a NARSA executive meeting organised for Tuesday night, the 25th, that's tomorrow night, where I'm sure we'll work out any short-term needs on the comms portfolio, and then we're not going to see any degradation on the communications frequency or quality moving forward. We're just going to, have a wee bit more hands in helping that in the background. And if there's anything material that comes out of the meeting tomorrow night in terms of our willed way forward, in terms of communications or the convention or anything else for that matter, we will certainly let you know. It actually puts me in mind that I remember saying after the November meeting that I would give an overview, and then I never did. So I'll commit to providing an overview next week of the meeting, I promise. On to communications for this week. And firstly, the biggest news ever, oh my god, from last week was the news that Ibrox is back hosting concerts with none other than One Direction's Harry Styles, bringing his solo Love on Tour concert to our home on Saturday the 11th of June. This is the Saturday after the convention in Las Vegas, so I'm glad the club didn't clash the concert date with the convention date. Otherwise, Harry would most likely have been playing to an empty stadium or something like that. Or, wait a minute, maybe NARSA's convention clientele aren't in fact late teen or early 20s screamers, now that I think about it. And the reason I call them screamers, it's from a position of authority, because I can tell you from first-hand experience of a Harry Styles concert just how loud the screaming is when he comes on stage or speaks or moves or dances or sings or does a combination of all of the above. Myself and my love Erin and my sister Debbie and niece Chloe went down to see the first concert of this particular tour in Las Vegas last September. You might remember the gig, the pod after that. I was sounding rough. I was awful tired that night. And it ended up being the first of the tour because due to all the COVID postponements, we ended up being on the very first concert of the tour, which was quite poignant, and it was a lot of fun. And I have to say, quite the experience, I don't mind admitting. So MyJails members have exclusive access to a pre-sale for the concert, and if you're a MyJails member, you will most likely have received an email about that already. General sales go ahead this Friday at 9 a.m. UK time, which will be 2 a.m. for me here in Calgary, and an amalgam of 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. For the rest of North America. And details of the concert and the artist can be found in the article that I'll post in the blurb for tonight's podcast. And one interesting thing that you'll read in that particular article that was on the website is the club's proactive management of potential concerns around the impact of hosting a concert and the impacts that will have physically on the pitch surface. And in the article, the club said, as a club, Rangers are hugely proud of the quality of our playing surface and take its protection and care extremely seriously. We also understand some supporters may have concerns around staging a concert at Ibrox. Working closely with the ground staff has been essential in making this possible. We have spoken with many domestic and national clubs and industry leaders in pitch covering technology and will only ever work with the most professional promoters who share our values in ensuring that pitch maintenance and events are timed to ensure that the pitch remains in top playing condition. I just love the roundedness of the messaging around this, and it really goes to show that the club aren't just handing over the keys to a concert promoter simply for the cash. They're saying, yes, you can come and use our world-class facility and it will be your pleasure to do so, but there are some conditions in and around that will need to be met before we proceed, because our primary function is to ensure a world-class pitch is ready for our world-class team to start or to continue our quest. Also, I guess it would be start our quest for the world record extending 57th league championship title, which is what will come after that. That's certainly the way I look at it anyway. So thanks once again and well done to the club for their diligence in the background and proactively telling us that, the nuances from a communication perspective that have gone in to making this deal. So a big deal for One Direction or Harry Styles fans. There's likely going to be a delegation from Calgary going to Scotland for that concert. And I understand also that Ed Sheeran's playing at Hampden that week. And I understand also that Billie Eilish is playing that week as well. Leo, my beautiful baby boy, is a fan certainly of Billie Eilish and Harry Styles. So that could be quite the 2 weeks. I don't know, is it recovery if I go from Vegas to Scotland? And I don't ever feel recovered when I leave Vegas or Scotland, so I'll maybe need to get my liver into training for that sooner rather than later. Looking forward to that, but brilliant to see concerts back at Ibrox. In future news, domestic fixture dates have been announced for the Scottish Premiership season 2022-23 next season, and this of course is important because of the World Cup that goes ahead from November the 21st to December 18th this year. And the key dates announced thus far are the first weekend of games will go ahead July the 30th or 31st, so not too much of a material difference there, maybe just a week of a difference. The round of 16, the fixture round of 16 is going to be the weekend of November the 12th and 13th, which will be the last round before the break for the World Cup. Fixture round 17, so almost halfway in the season at that point, is going to be December 17th and 18th. So, I guess we're assuming that none of our players in the domestic Scottish League are going to be in the World Cup final. Bold suggestion there, the way Stevie Clark has the team playing. However, you never know. And fixture round 33, which is, of course, the last fixture before the split, is going to be the weekend of April the 22nd to 23rd, 2023. And the last round of fixtures is going to be May the 27th and 28th. Assuming the Scottish Cup will follow the same date range as it has with regular seasons, this could mean that the final would be most likely the first weekend in June, and this further validates our decision to push the 2023 convention a couple of weeks out to give Bears and club representatives a breather, and then have them build up the excitement and anticipation for the event in Toronto. So yeah, that's good that we've got that organised, and I think it's all kind of falling into place. I'll put a link to the article that gives a wee bit more detail, but essentially the dates are the details that we need for right now, and now you have them. And since I mentioned it on the last couple of pods, unless I am mistaken, and there's a last minute Adele-esque postponement, friends of NARSA St. Phoenix will indeed be launching their new EP Happy Place this coming Friday the 28th. If you haven't managed to pre-order your copy, you still have time. Otherwise, you can get it when it comes out. And once again, I just wanted to extend NARSA's best wishes and good luck to Stevie and Al Dukes when the EP finally drops this coming Friday. And finally, I just wanted to kind of resurrect and let you know that we haven't forgotten about our Zenith coins competition that I announced last month. I'll dialogue with the comms community this week within NARSA, and we'll get moving on that one. So hopefully try and get that one out next week, so that we don't kind of overdo the goodwill that Zenith Coins have extended to us by opening up the competition and giving us the opportunity to give one lucky bear access to the coins. So we'll get that going next week. We'll do something similar that we've done before. We'll get a question, we'll post it on the website, and then we'll draw from the lucky correct answers as well. So that will do it for this week, my friends. The games are coming thick and fast over the next wee while, which is truly just the way that we like it. So as always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and please do share it with whomever you think might enjoy it. And until next week, please do take care, all the very best, and here's to us ridding ourselves of this dreaded post-winter break slump fest and getting back to consistent winning ways. Take care, my friends. Cheerio.